Hi, you all. First, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to the mothers out there that is taking care of their kids. And I know that sometimes it is hard, especially if you ain't got a spouse helping you, or no father, no child's father around helping you. I just wanted to talk about my DCS situation in Arizona back in 2016. If you got somebody that do not respect your motherhood, they're not going to respect your child, okay? That case that was going on in 2016 in Arizona was about my childhood. And I had a talk with my grandmama, and she said the same thing. She said that was about your childhood. That was about you. That wasn't even about your children. And my children, my two sons during that time, got sick after the police have taken them two into custody. That's when my children got sick. Okay? Because first of all, my child, one of my kids' name is Jordan. One of them is Tajay. Jordan didn't even eat anything. He was only 1 year. He was just making 1 year old. And you know, when your baby just making 1 year old, as a mother, you know that you're probably dealing with post-traumatic stress. Post-traumatic stress, or you're dealing with postpartum. It's a thing called postpartum depression. First of all, they had wrong people working my case. They had the wrong type of lawyers. They were men lawyers. Men lawyers do not understand women that well, or understand our development as women. Okay? You need a woman lawyer if you have a situation that's going on. If you just had a baby, a woman lawyer. I asked for a woman lawyer, and they denied it at first. First of all, you cannot get no man lawyer to work out no DCS case. Men lawyers cannot work out nothing with a woman. A woman that just had a baby. First of all, I was diagnosed with postpartum depression. After having my son Jordan house in 2000, I had him 2015. The case was 2016. So he was just turning 1 year old. My other son, Tajay, he was like 12 years old, 13 at the most. But it gave me a flashback because I remember my childhood in Chicago, Illinois. And I've just had a baby at 13 in 1997. I was abused. It was sexual rape during that time. I'm not going to say who did it. I'm not going to say why. I'm not going to say how it happened, because we're not going to go into my childhood. But we're not going to say who. That's not what's important. When you're dealing with an Arizona case, the Chicago, Illinois case don't even matter. Because that's my past. That's part of me. That's included in Chicago, Illinois. It has nothing to do with Arizona DCS jurisdiction. Their guidelines. It has nothing to do with their state guidelines, and that's what they did wrong. That was the lawsuit right there. The lady Megan Robinson was working that case, and Rosetta Connor and Alvarado Garza did not respect Garza. I think his name, Garza. He did not respect my motherhood. First of all, I was in my 30s during that time. I was not a teenage mom. And you do not supposed to go backwards into nobody's personal lifestyle, especially if it's out of the state. If it's past state, they can't do it. Okay, unless it is a lawsuit and unless it was a fraudulent case on your lifestyle. Fraud, yes. And that was a fraudulent case right there, because first of all, the doctors had no business calling DCS for anything that was not comatose, broken bones, or anything with a bruise or rape. It was not child molestation. It was not nothing like that. It was domestic violence case, but it was not with my kids. It was with the father of my children. It was with my husband. And that being said, they were supposed to remove that man, not my children. So it was a lot of things around that was wrong that they did. Okay? They have to give you a notice of when that man should leave the house. And then figure out who should get their children, whether it's going to be the man or you. They did that case really wrong. And first of all, they did not do no type of observation of the house and had paperwork. You have to first go in it was safety paperwork that was supposed to be involved that was not involved, like checking to see if your house is safe. I didn't sign no paperwork or saying that, oh, your house was safe. I didn't sign any of that. Okay? How do they know that they did? How do the court know they did a house check if they have not hand me no paper saying, well, okay, you should sign these papers for us doing a house check? Okay? It was a lot of things they did wrong with that case. Okay? It was a lot of things they did wrong. And a doctor that called up on me, he was once adopted. He said, well, I went through the same thing when I was little, and now for the call DCS, you need to go back to Africa or something. That's what he told me. He was a white man. Okay? First of all, I've never neglected my son. And then I was a visitor in Phoenix, Arizona. I was a visitor in Tucson, Arizona. It was not my hometown. They shouldn't even been allowed to take my children away from me if I am a visitor in another state. I'm going backwards to Chicago, Illinois without my 2 children. And I noticed that it's been longer than that. First of all, it was wrongful treatment because you're putting charges on me of saying neglect without even having proof of me neglecting. All of that is a lawsuit with the state of Arizona. If they don't have proof of you neglecting anything, you have a lawsuit. And then if they put you on a lie detector test back in Chicago, which is me, if they put me on a lie detector test and say, well, did you neglect your child? That lie detector test is going to pass and say, okay, this girl did not neglect her kids. They were not found in the streets. They were not having broken bones and bruises, any rape cases, any molestation cases, anything, comatose cases. How the hell did she neglect her? That's an argument with the lawyer.